Hey, what's up guys? It's Ryan in real life, and today I'm discussing Snyder Cut, Justice League. What's up guys? Welcome back, and if this is your first time, thanks for watching the video, and go ahead and hit like, subscribe. Before we get started, today we're going to be discussing the Snyder Cut of the Justice League movie. It, of course, has been years in the making right now. This is a movie that I believe everyone should probably go and see because it was the fans that made this possible. So many times, we hear about movies being edited and cut, but this time the fans spoke up and were able to make a major film studio release a movie and contribute more to the production of this film and being completed in its entirety. So for those who don't know, Zack Snyder was the original director behind the Batman vs Superman and the original Justice League movie. Due to unfortunate incident with his daughter Autumn, he had to step down. The studio went ahead and brought in Joss Whedon, whatever, to complete the film. Of course, they didn't really like the direction he was taking the film, which was a more of a darker, serious, grittier Justice League film. But he had already kind of stated in the past and in different posts or interviews or whatever it may be, that he didn't want to try to duplicate what Marvel Studios were doing with Avengers movies and that style. They have a very more lighter, adventure-y, family style movie, and they do great at it, even with the comic relief in that movie. He didn't want to try to mimic that because, of course, everyone's going to try to compare them, apple to apples. So what he did was he basically created a different, grittier, darker version, which a lot of people like to compare to Frank Miller's graphic novel, Dark Knight, that style of movie. And Chris Nolan was also an executive producer, so it all kind of ties into that, that darker feel. So that's what the route they went that he originally wanted to go into. But when he stepped down, they brought in Joss. They completely changed it. The movie was, I appreciate the fact that the movie was created in general, period, just with today's technology and special effects. I'm just happy that the movie was made, so I appreciate that. However, the way the movie was edited and changed, I can understand why a lot of the fanboys, such as myself, were upset with it. But let's get straight into this new movie, 2021's Zack Snyder's Justice League, the Snyder Cut, just dropped on HBO Max. Shout out to my cousin Kyoka for giving me her HBO Max password. Shout out, good looking out. If you need my Disney Plus, I got you if you want to see the Falcon and the Winter Soldier show, because that's about to drop as well. So I'm going to be getting off this, watching that, and I'll maybe do some episode by episode reviews of that if you guys like. So first starting off, the movie, of course, it starts off with the visual. The visuals is the first thing you're going to notice from the very beginning, the opening credits. It's going to be a different movie. He did a good job at getting everyone back up to speed with where the last movie, Batman vs Superman, left off. And I like how he added so many minor, small details to it that kind of explain things that were cut out or just left as plot holes in the first version. You get Kal-El or Superman, Clark Kent, whatever name you want to go with him as. When he's finally dying in his battle, he screams, and that sends waves throughout the entire world, through Atlantis, through the Messeskira, yeah, that word, where Wonder Woman is from, the Invisible Island. That's what I'll call it. That basically awakens the mother boxes. So that's good because that really wasn't explained, that how they just happened to awaken. So that was good that we were able to see the exact moment and how it was done. And those types of details are basically spread throughout the entire movie. Like in the first version, people would just show up to certain areas and they're just there. Lois Lane just shows up at a scene, but you don't really know why or how she's there. She just shows up. But in this movie, they explain it, where she was going, what she was doing. Bam, she shows up like, oh, so that's how she got there. Okay, wasn't really planned. It just happened that way. Oh, makes more sense now. If I haven't said it, there will be spoilers, kind of, because if you've already seen the first version of the movie, then you kind of know what happens. Yes, Superman Returns. So, spoiler alert. All Zack Snyder mentioning months ago was when a whole bunch of stuff was going on with Ray Fisher and his character, you know, just things going on between him and the studio, is Snyder tweeted that Cyborg was the heart of the film. And after you see this one, you understand what he's talking about. Cyborg story is told in this movie. This is the Cyborg's origin story. And I understand maybe why Zack did it this way, because everyone else was definitely going to have a strong, probably solo movie. Cyborg is probably the weakest character to have their own solo movie. Honestly, I'm just gonna say it. It is what it is. It's Cyborg, maybe your favorite character, but when it comes to film being produced, and of course they want to make blockbuster, big budget, money maker movies, Cyborg is probably the least likely to bring in that type of the big bucks. Honestly, it is. It's like trying to do a Black Lightning movie. It just won't. It won't get to that level. It won't compare it to like a Flash, Wonder Woman. But back to the movie. They tell the story very well of Cyborg and basically his family, his background. So when Zack said that Cyborg was the heart of the movie, I understand why. I see that now. I mean, from the beginning to the end, he has a very strong presence, and the story is well told around him. So that's one thing I can say about it. This movie is there is a complete story that was removed from the original version, which, I mean, I can understand why people were upset. I mean, to remove all those scenes from Cyborg, and maybe they were thinking the same thing I just stated, that he's not a strong character when it comes to merchandising and popularity. But man, that was like half the movie was his story, and they took it all out. But it was great to see it all back in. It helped bring a lot of things together. It helped just showcase, you know, the storyline. I was very happy that he removed all the stuff that Josh put in the movie. You know, just how Steppenwolf looked in the movie, in the original version, it was, I don't know, it looked kind of corny. He bulked him up a little bit, you know, in the new movie, the new version. His face was more of a monster, which I was like, yes, he looks more like a monster, not like a federal agent or something. He had the federal agent jawline. But in the new version, he's way more like hideous as a monster. You show him without his armor on a couple times throughout the movie. And seeing when he was fighting against the Amazons and they shot the arrows, and he just like, bam, flex on him, bam, flex on, flex. And the arrows just snapped off. I was like, all right, that was a badass scene. So Steppenwolf was a badass in this movie. So I gotta give that to him. He was way more impressive, way more gritty. I mean, he was whooping Atlanteans and Amazons' ass, like throwing horses and stuff. Like, he was way more ruthless in this movie. His character was just I could see, you know, that how he could come in and be the villain of the movie, and how they portrayed him, how he was properly portrayed. That, I mean, he was beating everybody up until you took the end of the movie, of course. But man, he was slaying the smack down on everybody. Psh, get off me. I mean, it was crazy. I'm like, he didn't even need the parademons at all. Like, he was handing everybody their ass. But yeah, I do also want to go into the Amazons. I mean, the Amazons were already amazing from the first movie and from both Wonder Woman movies. Even though 1984, it's not that good. But they made them look even better. I mean, they made the Amazons look, I mean, man, they made them look even tougher. Oh man, I'm like, I need to get to this island. So they enhanced so many things that the good parts of the original version were enhanced, made better. And then they got rid of the cheesy, stupid stuff. Not saying that the movie was perfect. You know, I mean, there was a couple things that you'd be like, You know, Martian Manhunter does make a couple of appearances in the movie. Thumbs up for that. Love adding characters to it. His first scene, I understand why they did it, but was it really necessary? Probably not. That probably threw me off a little bit at the very beginning of the movie. Again, spoilers throughout this video, so I don't care. prior to this security museum being robbed, or this bank being robbed, when they're showcasing Wonder Woman's intro to the film, they show Lois Lane walking, a bus or a newspaper truck drives by Daily Planet, like bam, product placement, Daily Planet, and then they throw a newspaper stack on the ground, and on the front page is like security museum 6 looking for a new architect. And I'm like, okay, that's gonna be Diana, but in reality, is that front page news? Like, Superman is dead. That's what I thought it was gonna say, but I'm like, that's the biggest news, is that a museum is looking for a new architect or something like that. I was like, that was, I mean, I know you're foreshadowing what's happening and why these people, again, that's one of the details that they're trying to explain, why all these people are here, what these people are doing, why is Deanna just dusting off a statue randomly. She's working as some type of museum curator or something like that. But I'm like, that's a weird headline to try to showcase, to foreshadow something. I was just like, that's the biggest news in Metropolis? Really? A job opening? They could have did a little bit better than that. They could have did a little bit better. But in all, it was, it was pretty cool. I like how the robbers, the motives of that original, that first terrorist scene was pretty good. They kind of expound on it a little bit. I love how, how they go into very detail and showcase things in slow motion. Even though some of the Amazonian scenes of them running away and out of their little mountain chamber thing was a little slowed down to me for no reason. They really could have sped that up and it was still had the same impact. They just slowed it down, I guess, for a dramatic effect. But I was like, okay, you don't have to show her running slow to get to the horse. Like, get to the horse, let's roll. We know what's about to happen. So those are just a couple of things that I was like, either was it necessary or just probably maybe just awkward, for the film. Something that they probably didn't really have to focus on, but they did. So I was like, oh, okay. I like how they really go into detail in the formation of the actual Justice League, the Super Friends, the search, looking for them, the discussions they were having amongst themselves between Bruce, Diana, Alfred, the luck they were having with getting Arthur to jump on. Like, a lot of the conversations that help explain things and move the film along, I think that was good. I don't have a problem with dialogue if it's good dialogue and if it adds value. If you saw my last video about Coming to America, if you haven't saw it, go see it. I ain't gonna say it's controversial because it's true, but the writing, if it doesn't add value, then it makes the movie kind of not as good. So the storytelling was done well with filling in a lot of plot holes and gaps in stories, and it just added more details so you could really get involved in the film, which was good for me. I appreciated that. Dark Side, yeah. Even though you only get a small glimpse of what he's capable of doing, but the underwater scene was pretty nice. I guess it was kind of like a dream sequence that Cyborg was getting, was not bad. I mean, when he had the little laser eyes came out and hit the little man, I was like, oh, that's Dark Side right there, Dark Side. So I thought that was really nice how they added that. And of course, it all sets up for another movie, a sequel, which I pray they can do. And a lot of, set up for a separate second movie, which makes me think that if they would have, of course, if things would have been different when the first version was released and it was able to be completed as Zack wanted it, would we be already having the Justice League 2 by now? Would we already have Man of Steel 2? Like, I thought of all of that as I watched this movie, and and I just was like, man, I think we missed out on a lot of great comic book movies during the span. Of course, COVID, of course, messed that up as well. But in all, the characters that were introduced were amazing. The Black Superman. Woo! Black Suit Superman, you know, came in there and was just spanking him. I mean, he beat the brakes off Steppenwolf. Wasn't impressed at all. So it was, you know, everything was done, like I say, very well. I mean, I really enjoyed the movie. It was a long, I think, 4-hour movie. I didn't care. I mean, and I knew what was happening, but I was more focused on what was taken out and what was added in. And about an hour into it, I kind of just forgot and didn't even care, and was like, this is a totally new movie. Like, this is something different. And instead of me trying to find Easter eggs and look for this and, oh, you know, Lois Lane's pregnant because she has the pregnancy. I just was like, oh man, this is just, I just started getting into the movie, and I was like, you know, just blown away by just how the visionary this guy is, and just how everything looked so amazing. I wish I would have seen this now on a big screen or in an IMAX theater. It was just a beautifully shot movie, and you know, in all, I liked it. I think everyone should watch it. I may watch it again. Yes, I will watch this movie again, just because it was good. And there was probably something I missed, but I need to go back in and probably watch it again just because of that. But man, it was great. I hope you guys get to enjoy it. It was well done. I mean, cinematography, writing, acting. It was a good movie. Good action, a good blend of the added scenes of dialogue with new added action scenes. So a lot of the action scenes were expanded, which was great because I mean, I was like, ooh, that was a better scene. That's a new scene. I like, ooh, I didn't see this the first time, and it was just like eye-catching, kept the attention growing, kept the action flowing. It was a good balance. The epilogue, because the movie is broken down into like 6 parts, I believe. But the epilogue, the end, there's no end scene credits, so don't look for them. They removed the race between Superman and the Flash, so no race at the end. No moving of the building. They took out like the whole Chernobyl scene, like, oh, that's gone. Like, they just killed all that, which I'm cool. The anti-life equation or something like that, that was really, you know, the focal point of what the next movie would probably be, which was good because like it foreshadowed that. But the epilogue, the end of the movie, there was another nightmare scene. I could probably do a whole video just on that separate nightmare scene. If you didn't know, Jared Leto was probably my second favorite Joker behind Heath Ledger, and I always got to give respect to Jack Nicholson because he was the first one I was introduced into in the 80s when I had Batman on VHS when they first came out. That's right, I'm an OG. Always been a Batman fan. But Jared Leto, I like Jared Leto's Joker from Suicide Squad. So fight me if you want to. I like even just from the first teaser photo that was released of Leto's character, I was like, whoo, that's a creepy looking ass Joker. With the tattoo of damage on his forehead and the tattoos on the grill. I was like, I think he was getting like a tattoo in the first photo. And I was like, yo, that dude look evil. Like that dude looks crazy. That was amazing. I like that. I like that style. I like that gangster thug Joker. I was cool with it. You know, there's different types. I like his. So for him, and I knew he was coming back because Zack Snyder had teased that that Joker would be returning in this movie. And of course, it's a nightmare scene. So you see the movie ending the same way the original movie ended, with Deathstroke and Lex Luthor on the yacht. And then it goes into a nightmare scene where you see, I guess it's basically a callback to like the Injustice, or it was an Infinite Crisis. I think it was Injustice. Injustice with the dark, evil, nightmare Superman, red eye Superman, killing everybody. So basically, it sets up in that type of scene, kind of reminiscent of the first version, Batman versus Superman's nightmare scene, where they're like in that desert area, they're hiding out, and Batman and Cyborg pop out, and they're hiding from someone, and it's like, oh, they're hiding from Superman. You know, he's working with Darkseid. Lois Lane's dead. Joker's there. I'm like, man, that's injustice. You know, I was like, oh snap. So the multiverse, you know, you see Barry Allen there, the Flash, with the same look that he had when he went back into time to warn Bruce. So apparently this is a Flashpoint paradox. That's right. That's right. It's already basically been hinted at too many times, and just hinted at more at other times in the movie as well, where Barry mentions time travel and he can mess with the time, and you see it done in the movie when they're bringing back Clark, and at the end of the movie when they are getting ready to separate the Unity, the mother boxes, to prevent Darkseid from coming. And I told you I'm dropping spoilers. I don't care. You can't fight me. And go ahead and share this with your friends as well. And you know, go ahead and subscribe. You know, follow me also on Instagram at the Ryan Priato. And you know, it's basically like, I mean, Joker is straight antagonizing Batman, which is like, man, like, you know, he's talking about you lost your mom, you lost your dad, oh, you lost your adopted son Robin. And I'm like, oh man, that's a low blow. Sending the boy to do a man job. I was like, oh, like he was in him, like he was egging him on, and I'm like, man, Batman is just gonna knock this dude out. Like he really pushing him. It's like he putting a leaf on his shoulder. He's like, knock it off, and Batman ain't doing nothing. I was like, wow. So that just excited me because I'm like, oh, I like Batfleck. I like Leto's Joker. And for them to have another scene like that, I was like, yeah, let's do this. Yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. You know, he even called him Bruce. So so they know he's Bruce Wayne, which also leads me to the Injustice storyline when it was revealed by Superman that Batman is Bruce Wayne. And then also Deathstroke is working with Batman. So some kind of way people are trying to get together to stop Superman. And I'm like, this could be a whole nother like phase 2 of DC movies if they went with this. They could drop so many other movies. Hell, you could do Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy movies. Like, you could do so much with this if the studio does it. Come on, Jim Lee, Christopher Nolan, Zack, DC Studios, make it happen. I know you can. You know you can. It's what the people want. So maybe we can start the hashtag. We want, you know, Injustice movie. You heard it here first. Because I mean, Lex Luthor knows he's Bruce Wayne, which he probably knew since Batman vs Superman. But you know, he tells Deathstroke that's who Batman is. Which I'm like, oh, Batman versus Deathstroke, let's do it. And there's some rumors that Ben Affleck wanted to do the fight scene with Deathstroke, I believe, from one of the Batman games, if I'm not mistaken. So I'm like, so much potential that comes from just this one movie. They set up so many things that can potentially happen. I'm like, DC, if they were smart, if they want, they can hire me. I'll come in as under contract, and I'll help them basically do what the fans want them to do. You know, if you want these Poison Ivy movies, you want the Injustice movies, you know what? You can use your DC Universe streaming service. If you really wanted to blow that up, drop the movies on that. Like, there's so many things you can do just off of this Snyder Cut. Like, Snyder Cut is creating a whole universe, the Snyderverse. And all I can say is thank you for bringing this film to us fans, so we can now see your vision. And I'm pretty sure there were some things that he probably didn't intentionally, or that he didn't intend to put in the movie originally. But then when all the backlash came from the first version, he was like, oh, you know what? I'm gonna make my movie and I'm gonna add some extra stuff in there that's gonna make the fans go crazy. And he did it. He did it. I think he delivered on everything that he said he was gonna do. I see there's people already, I don't like the way the film was shot in 4:3. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? If it was shot, it could have been shot in a circle, like a circle. I don't care. It was a good movie. It was a great movie. To me, it's gonna be a legendary movie that I think a lot of people can go back and see. Just that Snyder Cut, just a 4-hour classic. Godfather, Titanic, Snyder Cut, like period. Like it's gonna be that level. And people complaining about, oh, I didn't like Gerald. Guess what? He in the movie. It was good. He was, you know, picking on Batman. Batman ain't do nothing. And it just, you know, is that, you know, like there's possibility of a scene of him killing Robin. Don't know which Robin it is. Like, how can you be upset at that type of setup? Like, tripping. But again, it was, you know, it was a great movie. I liked it. I'll give it a, I'm gonna give it a 9.5 out of 10. Yeah, I said it, 9.5 out of 10. It was good. It was good. I'm gonna watch it again, and it's set up for so much in this universe, and I'm a big comic fan. So, and you know, so thanks for watching. Hit like, hit subscribe, hit the notification bell. That way, when I do another review, so when I hit that Falcon and Winter Soldier, you'll catch those two. Make sure you comment below. Did you like the Snyder Cut film? Did you like the first version? Did you like the second version? Are you a Marvel fanboy and you don't like none of DC films? That's cool. Hey, I like Marvel and DC. It don't matter to me. So let me know down in the comments below if you like the movie, if you did, and what you didn't like about it. Go ahead. If I missed something, put it in the comments below. Thank you guys for watching. And I'm out, y'all. This is Ryan in real life, and it's been real.